Hey guys, welcome back. Today, I want to take a look at another arcade game. This one, I'll be honest, I never saw it in the arcade. I never heard of it, and probably would have never have thought it was a thing. Also, yes, I'm aware that that's not uncommon, and pretty much the entire point of the series. However, I'm betting a lot of you never heard of this one either, and that's Quake Arena, the arcade game. Yep, you heard me. Quake was packaged into an arcade cabinet and shipped into the arcades. How did this work? Why did they do it? Was it different from the one we all know? Well, let's dig in and see if we can answer at least a few of those questions today. So sit back and snag a drink and hang out while we go into Quake and how it ended up in the arcades of all places. Now, when most of us think of Quake Arena, we think of Quake 3 Arena, which released in 1999. Now, this was a straight-up arena shooter game that could be played online with others over the internet, which at the time mostly consisted of dial-up modems, or offline against bots or other people via local LAN connection. There was no single-player story to this game, and honestly, kind of a surprise of a game to come out given how early it was in the consumer internet space. Now, all that being said, somehow, someway, Quake Arena Arcade came out in 1998, almost a year before Quake 3 Arena came out. Well, okay, that's in part because it sort of went online, and it was sort of online. Let's put it that way. The cabinets could be linked together, which is not outrageous or avant-garde for, things at the time, not as much as you might think. You see, the inside of the cabinet was, it was a PC. Yep, they made this work they just put a custom PC inside with a 266 MHz Pentium 2 running Windows 95 and a custom graphic card setup. The networking was possible because it was essentially a PC, allowing for up to 32 players to match via an arcade cabinet, which would have been something to see as each cabinet looks like it was designed to support kind of like one player at a time. On top of this, the cabinet would be using a 27 to 33 inch CRT monitor, which is no joke. Now, I know what you're going to ask next, though. How in the hell are you going to control this thing? And you're not wrong. I mean, Quake was always a mouse and keyboard style game, and around this time there wasn't really any controllers that could effectively replicate that gameplay experience, outside of maybe the DualShock controller that released in 1997. But using both analogs for first-person shooters on a console wasn't really much of a thing around this time, and wouldn't have helped in a cabinet in the first place. So, how do you get around this problem then? Simply put, trackball. Yep, you use a trackball. That in combination with 7 buttons to control the character on the screen. Now I'm not going to say this was easy to use. As of this writing, I'm not even sure exactly how this controlled. But it all got connected to the PC via a special connector known as a Quantum 3D game control interface. So it looks like we have Quake working on an arcade cabinet now. Well, time to slap on an attract mode video, install some software to recognize the coin inputs, and there you have it, folks. Quake, the arcade game. The setup would get put into a ton of Sega GameWorks centers, many of them connecting 4 seats to each GameWorks setup. This was much better than individual cabinets, because then they could in turn connect all those locally, as described, or even connect these machines to the internet to make it easier to hit that 32 player mark that the game was capable of. So I guess this really could go online in the end anyway. I think the funniest thing about this is the ticket dispensing game-like aspect of it. Yeah, you see, there were some enemies in the game that would drop prize packs, and Moonshot would dispense tickets. Yeah, tickets. The type you get at a skee-ball or basketball, like I said before. I have no idea why this was done, but it amuses me to absolutely no end. Now, this game in particular never really got an official localized release. It was only ever released in the arcades. However, in later years, the game files were actually found and worked into a MAME-compatible release so that people could play it via emulation and basically experience the game. For those of you who wanted to own one of the cabinets outright, well, they retailed for what I found as $7,500 a piece. I'd have no idea how much the cabinet would cost these days, likely more than the original retail price though. What do you guys think of this one though? Did any of you ever play one, and if so, how did the controls really work? Did any of you emulate it at all, and if so, how good was that? Let me know in the comments, and while you're there, if you don't mind, please leave this video a like. And if you see more of my content you like, possibly one of the ones on the screen now, consider following the channel. It does really help me out a lot. Until we meet again though, have a great rest of your day, and happy gaming!